Greetings, folks. Patrick here. Have Cheetah Will View, 8 questions with. And welcome to Thursday night show. It's been a weird day here in southeastern Michigan. A little bit of sun, some clouds, a little bit of rain, a little cooler than usual. Um, but a perfect night though for an interview, right? A perfect time for a chat. Now, your boy here is going to admit something straight up. I'm nervous. I am nervous. I am. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to be a little nervous talking to Diane Cameron Elam because uh, she has done so much in her career. It's unbelievable. Just an amazing, amazing artist. I can't even begin to start. She's a playwright, she's a vocalist, she's put out 3 records, she's published books, she's toured, she's gotten acknowledged by the Alabama state legislature not once but twice. uh she goes to Africa. She was sitting in, I think she was like a cultural ambassador in Benin. She's got a brand new project out here that's coming out later this month called Kata Blue, and which she is basically she's created a play and also sort of like an award show for a lot of unsung blues players down in the Mississippi Delta area. Now, if anybody knows about the blues, that's where it's born at. It's born in the deep South, and a lot of them were a lot of players were, well, they were the wrong color to get acknowledged. I mean, their people knew, but they weren't recognized outside of their local area. And for many of them, they didn't even bother trying to tour because a lot of times the door would be slammed in their face because of their color. So it's this is just like a nice gesture to come back and acknowledge some of these players that have created um, our musical blood. Um, I'm now, you guys all know this, so this is not going to be a big drop name thing or anything, but I booked a few bands in my career. I had a friend of mine who I really loved very much. I really admired him, and I miss of him every time. Every time I think about blues music, I always think of Andy Mazzilli, the sweetest guy you ever meet. And and that's something I want to talk to Diane about too, because I'm curious. I'm curious to hear what she thinks about this. Because the blues is music steeped in tragedy most of the time. It's why they call it the blues. It's not pop music. It's not like Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter or anything else like that. It's from the soul. Now, I'm not the biggest blues fit guy myself, but it's not toward the artist. It's actually toward the audience. I I I love blues, but the audiences get me. They just send my ass. And I'm gonna talk to Diane about that too. Maybe we can fix that. Of course, now you remember last year's movie, Sinners, and had a heavy, heavy blues influence. There was another movie called Crossroads that was also set in the blues with Ralph Macchio and Joe Stanica and Steve Vai, of all people. Uh, hey, Jerry, how are you, sir? Yes, her song "Forbidden Love" is amazing. She can do it all. Like she had a residency in Japan with her band. She was back there playing for, I think, between 3 to 6 months. That's pretty amazing right there. I have a residency. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. I'm not sure if I've ever heard of an American on any level that had a residency in Japan. Now, I know it's not a real, it's sort of relatively new. I mean, Las Vegas put it on the map residencies where you basically get booked into the venue and you play there every night. And it's like a concert every night. You're playing there for you can play there for 3 months or 6 months, and you're going to play there every single night. And people are going to come in and they're going to buy tickets. They're going to see you. Now, some residency places are small rooms, small intimate rooms. Um, that wouldn't be for the blues. The blues, you gotta have a room for the blues because you're dancing. If you're at a blues show and there's no dancing, you're not at a blues show. Um, so I mean, it's a really of course, watch the Japanese prove me wrong, right? It's like, do they get up and dance with you? I would like to think that they did, but we will see. Um, like I said, she's also written books. She's an actress. She's also done a lot. She's graduated from she got her degree. She's a teacher. She teaches a critical area need, and that is teaching arts to kids in school. Um, some states like Texas and Oklahoma and Georgia, they'll spend $5 million on a football stadium for their high school teams, but then turn around the first time they need to cut a budget, the first thing that goes are the arts. Playing instruments, that sort of thing, flags, chorus, you know, music instruments, plays. Those are all cut. The arts are always the first targeted. Um, our country is just has it all twisted up as terms of what is valuable and what is not. I mean, sports is okay. I mean, I play sports too. I love sports, but not at the expense of other arts and other cultural events, you want to teach folks musical history. You want to teach folks how to play guitar. You want to teach folks how to play drums, and having those monies cut from that, and yet turn around and you see like they spent down, $100,000 for new helmets for the team or something. It's all broken. It's broken. I don't know if it ever come back, but um, so yeah. I'm yeah, I'm really interested in talking tonight. And I do hope that you guys do have some questions as well. Uh, this is one of those shows where it's just like I just wish that there were more people watching. I shared it out. If you guys share it out with me, that'd be great. But this is one of those shows that, man, I really hope that people show up for this one and really and bring some questions. Bring some questions. Let's keep the conversation going because there's a lot to talk about. And so, I also like to thank real quick. I like to thank Cindy Dianimo for helping me put together this show. She is a PR expert, and she helped me get Diane to come in and talk to us. And I do want to recognize that and say thank you for that. I appreciate it. Of course, my stomach being flip-flopping all over the place too is also Cindy's fault. So thank you for that too. Now, it doesn't happen very often as far as, talking to, and being nervous talking to somebody. It's only happened a few times, but this is one of those times. There's some yeah, there's some cachet here. I mean, I know this is a far above beyond average guest for us. This is something that you would see normally on a TV show, which Diane has done. She's done TV as well. Been on TV many times. So, like I said, this is gonna be one for the books. I think all I can do now, because I'm just rambling, is I think I'll just tell you what's going on the calendar. That's what I'll do. All right. So, July is going to be slammed. You haven't seen a month like this for me in freaking forever, but we came back. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, man. I want some heads in here. That makes it easier. That definitely makes it easier when there's people in here and the chat's going. It'll make it fly. Um, this is our last show of the week. Next week we only got one show. We got one show. We'll be talking with Mark Wolf 8 o'clock next Thursday. Next Thursday we'll be doing that. Um, and so that'll be the last show of the month, and then July comes around and we are off and running to the races. On July 1st, we have Daniel Bowers will be here with us on the 1st. On Thursday the 2nd, Jamie Hill will be with us again. We haven't had Jamie on in a while, but she's got some new movies coming up, and we'll be talking to her. And then on Monday, July 6th, we have our good friend Tremaine Hayhoe will be here. Film director and producer Tremaine Hayhoe will be here, and he'll be talking about his brand new film festival, the Golden Bear Film Festival, that he got up and running in Folsom. So, and he's also got a podcast going too at the movies, and we'll be talking about that as well. I'm really, if you're a filmmaker of any kind, I think you should be cruising over there to listen to Tremaine. He's a very knowledgeable young man when it comes down to making films. And so we'll be talking with him on the 6th. On the 7th, we welcome in director Derek J. Barash. Now, this is going to be fun because Derek is a fine director, but he left my ass all twisted up in Amityville, Descent of Darkness. He directed the third story in that movie, and I just gotta talk to him. I had to talk to him because I'm watching this story and I'm going like, at the end of it, I'm just going like, what the hell? I gotta talk to him about this. Lo and behold, the top interview gods heard my plea, and we got Derek to come in, and we got questions. Do we have questions? And then on July 8th, we have Tracy Beebe will be here with us. And I can't wait for that. And that'll be a great show as well. Monday, the 13th, I told you we're busy. The 13th, we'll have another powerhouse guest. We'll have journalist and writer Chrissy Stoddard will be here with us on the 13th. On the 15th, we have Jack McCord. He is one of the Todd Sheets acting troupe, and he'll be here and talking with us about Clownado and other adventures. On the 16th, we have Alexander Pimento, and his Foundation of Film crew will be here with us on the 16th. Friday, the 17th of July, sees the return of Mitch Lang. That's right, Mitch Lang from Louisiana, the Bogman series. He'll be back, and he'll be joined by Drew Hill. And we're crossing our fingers, his new special effects find, Miss Esther Powell, will be here with us. Hopefully that can happen. I've seen some of Esther's work. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. She's only 20 years old. Mitch can find talent. He had himself a Joe Leone moment right here. Let's see. On the 21st, we'll welcome in rock and roll singer, actually metal rock singer Jay McTaggart will be with us on the 21st. He is the lead singer of the band Silent Throne, based in Las Vegas. It's been a while since we've had anybody from Vegas on the show. So that would be very, very cool to have that come back. And I'm always looking forward to talking to musicians, just like Diane, because Diane is also a singer as well. Let's see. So on the 22nd, we have Keon Henry will be with us at 8 p.m. And the 28th, I got to tell you about the 20th of July. You got to mark it down on your calendar. I'm not making this up. This is the reason I booked him. So I got a ping from Robert Parham, and he says he's got some movies coming up. And I said, "What do you got?" I said, "What do you got?" Brother Max is in the house. What's going on, Brother Max? You're just in time for this one. So, do you guys remember a few months ago? I know, talking about this movie right before our guest gets here. So, did you guys remember the movie Cocaine Bear? about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Cocaine Bear, right? So Cocaine Bear came out and it did all right. It did all right. The hype was really big, but the box office was okay. S- So there's a lot of movies that came out with to embrace that. I know because I reviewed two of them. I reviewed Cocaine Shark and I reviewed Cocaine Cougar. Hey, you know what? It's content. Okay, it's content. But there's been other ones. There's been a Cocaine Werewolf. I don't know what else is there cocaine, but and meeting Robert Parham, he says, I got a couple of movies. Okay, what do you got? Well, he's got more than a couple, but this is the ones he told me about. He says, well, I got this new movie coming out called uh, I got one coming out called Roach NATO. Eric, just in time. Roach NATO. Like Clown NATO and Shark NATO and Cat NATO, Roach NATO. So as I'm processing this. Like, what the hell? How are you gonna get roaches in a tornado? That's the first thing I thought was, how are you gonna do that? And then he says, well, this is sort of like wait, it gets better. Um, so he goes, well, it's sort of like a sequel to what? Cocaine Roach. Not kidding. I'm not kidding. Cocaine Roach. It's on Tubi. It's on Tubi. He made a movie called Cocaine Roach. Of course, you know damn well that I had to reach out and say, "Yeah, you got to come on here and talk about that. You have to talk about this." I, I mean, come on. I've heard of mockbusters, but I've never seen anything like this. I'm just curious. Is it gonna be AI? Is it gonna be AI roaches? Are there gonna be stunt roaches? Will there be real? There be real cocaine used for the? Oh, see, cocaine roach. Now I'm banning you from your own channel. It's a good time. It's a good way. It's a good time. It's a great timing that our guest is here. She's probably heard this and said, "I got to get on here and stop this crazy guy." So please help me welcome in the very talented, this soulful Miss Diane Cameron Elam. Here we go. Uh, Greetings, Miss Cameron Elam. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I am. We're in rehearsal, so I stepped away to do this. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Well, I don't know. Did you hear what I was talking about before you came on?
No, I was directing, but what were you saying?
You wouldn't have come on if I told you. You would have said, "No, I wouldn't miss this for the world." If you would have heard me talking about 2 minutes ago, you would have said, "Yeah, I'm out." Cindy, I'm out. Uh, no, I'm interviewing. I interview a lot of indie film directors and people in indie films, and there was a movie that came out about 3 years ago called Cocaine Bear, and people have been doing all sorts of things with that. Cocaine werewolf, cocaine rat. It's just craziness, right?
Hey, I'm
And
an
this
I'm
guy,
an artist. I don't knock anybody else's art. I don't, what
well, hold
everybody
on,
does.
I think I could change your mind. I know I can. Okay, are you ready for this? This is a true story. I'm not even kidding you. And this will
Okay,
be this will be the strangest interview you have ever done.
okay,
So I talked to this young man, and he wants to, he's told me about because I said he wants to talk to us, and so he reached out and he said, "Hey, I got a couple of movies I want to talk about." I said, "What do you got?" He says, I want to show you this movie that I did called Roach NATO. Do you remember the movie Sharknado with all the sharks in the tornado? I told you. Okay, so so
Oh my God.
so he comes
Hey, somebody's got to do it, right?
so he comes up and he says, "I got a movie called Roach NATO," and I'm going, "All right, you got to come on and talk to me about this." I mean, he goes, "It's sort of like a sequel to what?" He goes, "Well, I did another movie called Cocaine Roach."
He's got big aspirations, right?
I'm just like, I mean, I've heard of some. I'm just dying here because now I'm just so curious of how he's going
I'm
to do
sure
this.
Steven
But
Spielberg is shaking in his boots.
you know what? I don't. You know what? I don't know. I tell you what. If he, I'm just, I'm just like, I'm so always blown away by the creativity of my guests. One day I'm talking
Hey,
to a multi-talented, award-winning playwright, singer. Your credits are incredible. And then the next day I'm talking to someone about cocaine roach.
don't worry about it.
Uh,
Everybody has their
um,
space. Everybody has their niche. People do what they do.
yeah, yeah. I'm happy he's doing it. Because he's out there and he's got more than that. He's got like, he's got a lot more movies than that. He's just no,
Well,
it's not the only two.
he's creative, and that's the first
Yeah.
part of being an artist. You have to have a creative mind. You have to do something that nobody else is doing or has done to make it work. To make your name on the marquee.
Uh, I was going to ask you for my first question. My first question is because I'm really curious because I was looking at your background, and it's just like I'm going like, wow, where do I even start? It's like walking up to it's like walking up to a smorgasbord. Everything looks absolutely fantastic, but you don't know where to go
Um,
first. So I'm going to let you do it. What's the one word you would use to describe yourself?
um, Kaleidoscope.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I think that'd be yeah.
yeah. It
Uh,
fractures different. I put an art um frame, an art piece or art initiative, and it goes sometimes even beyond my imagination of how it's supposed to travel. You know, it's like one song will lead me to like one song. I made a CD, had no experience in that whatsoever in singing in clubs. Or I said, you know what, I want to do a CD, and the next thing I know, I was on a plane to Japan. They had my music, and they asked me to come and join a group that was out there for 3 months. So it's just
yeah,
like a
that
fairy
was your
tale ride.
residency.
Hmm.
That was your residency, right? You stayed out there for
Yeah.
3 months and what?
Uh-huh.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
And another
that's
time I was
amazing.
dropping my daughter off at her rehearsal, and her director runs out to the car, and I guess whoever they had casted for a certain role. This was in Fame. Remember Fame? I
Oh
want to
yeah,
live forever. Anyway,
that's
somebody had dropped out of that, and they needed a soul sister who could sing and act. And I know he knew I was a soul sister. He didn't know if there was anything else beyond that. So he came out to the car and he said, "Can you act and sing?" And I said, "Well, I think I can." He said, "Well, come to rehearsal tomorrow." And I did and got the part.
nice. Isn't it
Yeah,
something how that sometimes works out?
yeah.
Isn't it?
I was just
Yeah,
dropping
I
her
mean,
off at her rehearsal. I had no intention of getting involved in a theater. That was my first foray.
it's funny, Diane, because you hear that a lot. Like, you'll hear that from people who say that they went with their friend or their family member to offer support, moral support while they're doing the rehearsal, or the audition or whatnot. And then they go to do that, and they in turn get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's like that. I mean, here you are, you happen to be there, and they rush out, they see you, and they say, "Hey, can you sing? Can you dance? Can you act?" And yeah, I can do all
Oh, I
that.
think I can. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, Opportunities find you if you are willing to come out of your box, if you will, or whatever barriers you set up for yourself. When the opportunity finds you, you jump on the train. You know,
Yeah.
until you leave out of here. I'm going to be doing something creative.
How long do you have you think that you've actually been off that train in the last 20 years? Because honestly, with all the accomplishments that you've had, I really don't see you as a passenger on on the train. I see you as the damn train itself because because you have never stopped. You have been going on for so long and helping so many people on so many different levels. Like I said before you got here, it's intimidating. It's
Well,
inspiring, but
that's
it's
the thing
intimidating.
for me is what I do in the art has to lift up other people. I can't do anything that only benefits me. It has to be some kind of cause or some kind of initiative that is beneficial to somebody else, or it has to work for more than just me. I can't get involved in singular projects. It has to be something that broadens humanity, and gives other people an opportunity to rise to their heel. I want to leave a credit of people that I've reached out to and helped, because people have reached out and helped me, um, especially Cindy. Yeah, Cindy, I just love her. Yeah, we've
She's
been
a very
together for over
she's very
20 years.
talented.
I've never met anybody like her, and she just is always there to help me with any. Oh, Cindy, I got a new song. Oh, Cindy, I got a new. We're going to New Orleans. Cindy, I'm going to do this. She's right there, and I just give my hat off, my kudos to her greatly, because she's a wonderful person. But artists find each other. We there's like we're sitting out signals. And we just kind
A
of
public
because
relations
other people
person,
don't understand us. So we have to uphold and be around one another. You know.
I agree. Um, I think a publicist is worth their weight in gold. A good one is they're worth their weight in gold. If you get a good publicist that understands the market, understands their
Mhm.
clientele, understands their friends, I mean, it's incredible how much they can advance someone's career for them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I see that with Cindy does that very, very well.
For so many
It's great.
people.
It's great
For
that
so
you guys
many
hooked up.
people. Yeah.
But you've been doing this. You were doing this. Cindy's been with you for 20 years, so she's seen you in action. She's seen you at the various schools and teaching arts and teaching culture and teaching music. And I said this also before you got here. I said that how this country has it all broken, it's all wrong. It seems like every time there's a school budget that needs to be cut, the first thing they cut are the
The
arts and
art.
humanities.
Yeah.
But yet
Yeah.
they'll put in a $5 million football stadium for high school kids,
Hmm.
and no one thinks that anything that how nobody even questions how wrong that is. Nobody raises their hand and sits there and says, "Can we get $1 million for the kids and playing music?" It's like
Yeah.
it frustrates me. I mean, I like sports. Like I said, I like sports. I've been following them all my life. I played them and whatnot. But I also know that there's no way in hell that I would ever approve. Some of these stadiums they're more impressive than college stadiums. There's no way in hell. I don't care if it's private, partly donated or not. It sends the wrong message. Uh, we need we need we need a next generation of artists. Who's going to be the next
Yeah.
Diane Cameron Elam? Who's going to be you?
I'm trying to help create them. I'm trying
Yes, you
to
are.
to
Yes, you
give
are.
them their wings so they can fly, and then they can go as high as they possibly can and pull others up with them. We have a
Yeah.
responsibility as artists to leave goodness in this world. This world has so much negativity that Our job is to bring peace and enlightenment and good times and entertainment, um, education through the arts. It's a formless, shapeless entity that can permeate through walls and through countries and through people who don't even know each other, who don't speak the same language. We can sing together, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything else that I would have wanted to be. I wouldn't have wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer. None of that is. I mean, I appreciate them, but none of it is attractive to me. I like being an artist. I like being an artsy type. I do.
Yeah. Let's see. Hobbs is here. It's not like that in every school, Patrick. There are plenty of schools that teach art and music and plenty of kids who enjoy art and music too. Sure, but think about the schools in the South, Hobbs. Texas, Georgia, Louisiana, Florida. Uh, there's a lot of schools that spend a lot of money, millions of dollars on football stadiums for the kids. And they're big. I mean, they're nice. They're not. They're very nice. I mean, but they spend millions of dollars on that. And you look like it's pretty easy to look up. You look at any school budget that's cutting you look at any school district that's cutting their budget, and pretty much it's always going to be the arts and humanities that get cut
People
first.
first, yeah,
That's, I mean, if you don't believe me, you can ask Diane. She's seen it firsthand.
yeah.
What I'm saying. Um, uh, Now you got something really cool because I want to go back. I want to talk about this for a little bit because it speaks to me too. So you got Kata Blue coming up,
Yeah.
and let's talk about that because this is your passion project right now. And let me ask you this because I've told people this, and I just want to see how you feel. There's a couple of things since you've been in the blues, for pretty much all your life. Um, what makes the blues what does the blues mean to you? I mean, how would you define if someone came out to you and didn't know anything about the blues or R&B? How would you describe it to them? What does it mean to you?
The blues is the sentiment of the heart put to music. It's the sorrows of life put to music. It's a man's and a woman's inner soul longing for resolve put to music. Um, I learned while maybe some years ago that the blues has its origin in Mali, Africa. There's an area they call Timbuktu where there's an artist there called named Ali Farka Touré, who's now passed on. But it's like the blues originated in Mali. And then when we were brought over to America, in order to get through a days where we would work the cotton fields and, do all these tedious chores, humming and singing the blues and crying out to God became our mainstay. It was our saving grace to keep us basically from collapsing, to give us strength to make it through a day. And then the blues found its way through Mississippi, through the enslaved Africans, and then it found its way to Chicago, and then to the rest of the world. But the blues is not a guitar, it's a heart's cry, it's a moan, it's tears set to music. And one thing that stuck out with me when I began this project was I'm not really a blues singer. I'm more of a jazz, world beat, and R&B and gospel. But I heard for nothing, for no other better word to describe it. The Spirit say that He wanted me to get involved in a project that would reach out to the Mississippi Delta blues area men and women who were just as talented as B.B. King and Albert King and Muddy Waters, but never got their due. They had the talent, but they never got their due. And he
Yeah.
said, I want you to do a project that will basically give them their due, acknowledge them, give them their flowers, let them know that their careers, although they didn't rise to the level of some of their comrades, that their music and their effort was just as
That
important.
but that
That's what
rise
we're
of
doing.
the rise to their comrades, I mean, a lot of those folks came before their comrades, before the bigger names came in. And
Yes,
a lot of times it wasn't because they weren't good. It was because the door was shut.
the door was shut. A lot of their music was stolen. They weren't given the credit for it, and it became a passion for me. I started in 2022, but there was something, a piece that was missing, and I guess after a 6 month effort of trying to get it together, I didn't really know what form it was going to take on. I thought it was a book. I thought it was just me going to the hospitals in Mississippi trying to find out if any of the blues singers was there in the hospital and needed some help, resources, or something like that. And it was only when I came here to Arkansas and that the story came back to my mind very strong. And it was like, you need to finish this. You're doing other things. You've got other plays that you've written, but you have not gone back to your quote unquote first love. So, um, I have to tell you this story. When I was 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, I lived with my grandparents in Malvern, Arkansas. And we would go to the movies every Saturday. And because we were black, we had to sit upstairs in the balcony. But we never felt deprived, or we never felt like it was anything that was grievous to us. We never was just happy to go to the movie. We didn't care where we sat. Only as I got older, I began to understand the cultural dynamics of that, and to be able to come back down here in Malvern, Arkansas, and negotiate a date with that same theater. It's now a 450 seat theater, and tell them I have a play that I'd like to bring here. And I sent them a script so they could see if there was anything offensive in the script. They said, we would love to work with you. So I see that as providence. That now the place where I used to go and I had to sit up in the balcony, now
Yeah.
I'm on the main stage. God has put me on the main stage. So to me, that's redemption, you
I
know.
just find it so sad that we were alive to see that, to talk about that. It's not the far past. It's not like, 100 years ago, things have changed in 100 years. It really
But
hasn't, and
I'm built not that I don't. There's no anger or I'm despair. Or I'm I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the theater. They've been nothing but gracious to me.
mhm,
They've done all that they could for me to make sure that our cast is comfortable. And the one day I was in rehearsal and I was on the main stage downstairs and I just looked up at the balcony and I saw 12-year-old me sitting there looking at the movie. Never would I ever in my wildest imagination think, I don't want to say how many years later, but years later, that I would be down on that main stage. So I don't see it with any bitterness or anger or you know I'm happy, I'm grateful because times have changed. We're in a different dispensation. You know, and it's just to me it's like it's satire. It's kind of satirical to me. It's like here you are now, and there you were, but now here you are. So it's like you can do anything that your heart desires through the arts. The arts will
Yeah.
take you places that you've never been before.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
open up doors
Absolutely.
that will never have been open to you um, in other circumstances. So it's a good thing. I appreciate the theater. I appreciate the town, and I appreciate the opportunity to bring the stories of the Delta musicians on that
Yeah.
stage and honor some of the musicians that we've located. They're coming to pick up their awards. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I do hope that you record that and put it out. I think that would be really cool if that's the case.
And
Um,
we have
Let me
plans
go
to
back
do
to the
that.
chat here. I'm gonna go back to catch up with our people who are talking. Pops is talking a lot today, which is really cool. He says, I don't spend my time or feel like it's going to help me mentally look at every single thing wrong with the world. Um, well, it makes people miserable, Pat. I try to focus on the positive. Well, the positives would be not to have the arts and humanities cut. That would be a very big step positively wise. Not every state is like that. Of course, that some states have different values. They have different moral values. It just seems like a lot of the states, like, ironically speaking, because we're talking about Southern music and the blues, and it's a lot of times it's the Southern states that are the first ones cutting the same, the humanities, to the and the music departments, which is a shame because one of the greatest things that happens every year uh, during college football season is because I don't really care. One of my bucket list goals is I want to go down and watch. I want to watch a HBCU game. I want to go down and watch Jackson State and Southern or Southern and Grambling play. I want
Okay.
that movie Drumline. Yeah, I want it. I mean, when my favorite team, San Jose State, they scheduled Morgan State, and the first thing everybody was sitting there saying in the comments is, "You better have them bring their band." They didn't care about San Jose State. They only wanted to see Morgan State's. And I saw that too with Howard. I saw Howard's. I think they're called like the 100 member. I forgot the question what they call themselves, but their band is. I mean, who cared about the football game? You just go and watch the bands. Um, let's see. Hobbs is sitting there saying, "My school had a phenomenal art department and one of the best music and color guard groups in all Ohio. We even say some of our school arts are bigger than the sports. That's awesome. Unfortunately, there's some that are opposite of that. Says also had a friend who also had a residency in Japan with a blues band. She even sang with Tina Turner, if I'm not mistaken. But she
Yeah.
loved her residency and she had a lot of fun there. Yeah, I'm a big residency fan. I think those are really cool. I think that is
Yeah.
it's a relatively new thing. I mean, as far as the people being aware of it, they started in Vegas, but it looks like they've been starting it sooner than that. Now, let me
Mhm.
ask you one question about that residency. You say you sing R&B and you're not really a blues singer. You sing jazz. Um, was there room for you? Was there room in your club that when you played that people danced? And if so, did they dance?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah. That's the whole idea. See people happy. People come to see you, and you want to make them. You want to give them their money's worth, and you want to make them feel when they leave out that they had a good time. Yeah. You know.
Um,
Even when I was in
what-
Japan, I was called the wedding singer. It was tradition for Japanese weddings to include a black singer.
really?
And I always would think then when they would do the family portraits, they would want me in it, and I always would think they'd be probably wondering whoever was watching the pictures, what side of the family is she on?
Uh, that's really cool. So, hey, John.
Yeah.
Uh, our good friend John just walked in and says hello to you and me both. Thank you for coming in, John. I appreciate it.
Hey.
Uh, does the the blues, that you going down there and you talk to, you found a lot of the musicians down there. What are some of the things that struck you about what as you got in as you started to research this and you started looking for the artists, the singers, and what's the one thing that you noticed that because you
Now
said
you're
earlier
you're
that the
breaking
blues
up a
was
little bit. Can you repeat that?
sure. Yeah, good old StreamYard. Uh, so you mentioned how the blues is the music of the heart. Um, it seems like a
Mhm.
lot of blues players, it's almost like they feel like they have to follow a certain code when they play. They have to do certain things because they're not considered true blues players if they don't do it. Um, and a lot of those players, we mentioned
It
before about
yeah, it's a bar, 4 bar, 5. But I'm not a um uh, what could I call? I guess professional songwriter. I just write what I feel, and I don't know if it's with the key and how many bars it is and all that. But I know there is a pattern. Um, 4 bar blues, 5 bar blues, 1, 3, and 5. I know that that's something that people adhere to when they're doing real blues. But there's a song that I wrote called "Come On In" and that Cindy loves. It's a blues song. It was made impromptu. I was at the studio one night and I just began to sing this blues song, and the engineer just kind of followed me, and we ended up a song called "Come On In," and I'm going to put it on my iTunes probably in the next couple of days. But I've been trying to kind of lay low on this my music thing because I wanted to kind of focus on the play. But for some reason, for the past week, I've been going into my music repertoire and putting posting my stuff up online. I mean, I don't know, I'm just artsy. I don't know. But yeah,
uh,
come on in. Come on in. Loving's fine. Sweet like honey. Mellow like wine. Don't you be afraid, babe. I'm a keeping kind. You give me yours, I will give you mine. I mean, that just flowed, and he was right there on the piano, just going along with me. So I'm glad we captured that song, and that's the only blues song I've ever, ever written.
what what led to the what led to what was the defining moment for you when you decided that you wanted to do Caught Blue? Was there any one moment or anybody inspired you to come up with the play? And it's both a play and it's also like an award show. It's one in the and one in right one in the both,
Right.
or is it two
The
separate
awards is
pieces?
a companion piece. The award show is the because not only do I want to tell the story of a unstrummed, if you will, or unsung Delta blues singer who never got his due, I want to reach out and find, are there any people like this anywhere? If so, then those are the people that we want to honor as the companion piece to this project. So we've located 6, yeah, 6 honorees we have. Mississippi
Yeah,
Marshall, who's very popular in Clarksdale, but has not gained the national or international prominence. Detroit Johnny lives in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He's in his 70s or 80s, and I want him to get his flowers before, he leaves this world.
yeah,
And Joe Murdoch was a legend in Malvern. He was a wonderful singer, and he passed away a couple of years ago. But there's a real, I mean, not funny, but interesting story about Joe Murdoch. He and Billy Bob Thornton were best friends. So Billy Bob Thornton is going to send me a video tribute to Joe when Joe's name is called for his family to come up and get his award.
Wow. Wow, that's
I
cool as
know.
hell. Nice. I bet they'll be so
Yeah.
surprised by that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I only I mean I saw some jazz singers. I like jazz, you know, like I like there's a couple of singers I really enjoy, Jane Monet being one of them. Um, the blues. I don't know. I mean, it's really gonna be interesting. I mean, what is your impression of the crowd that watches a blues band? I mean, because you obviously went to a lot of different places to in your research for these artists. Um, what was it like going inside blues joints and and interacting both with the artists and with their crowd? Was it a lot different from like jazz or R&B or even pop or whatnot? Or,
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
different? Yeah. How
Blues
was it
is the
different?
one genre. Yeah. Blues is the one genre that brings the races, if you will, together. We're all one in that joint. We're all one in that hall. We're all one in that auditorium. There's something about the blues that unites, creates a kinship, if you will, between, it's colorblind and everybody appreciates it. Um, I've noticed there is more 50-50 in blues, actually, maybe 60-40, 40% African American. It's something that people love to hear other people's stories, especially when some of them have a happy ending and some of them don't. There's something cleansing about hearing that type of angst told in music because you feel like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that's going through this. They're going through it too.
Um, yeah, what were your response to, when some of these artists that you went up to and you introduced yourself, said, this is something I want to do. I want to honor you. I'm going to be doing a play. Was it hard to write the play, Caught of Blue? Did
No,
you write it
no.
before?
The play
Did
came
you?
easy because it's somebody's story. Somewhere on this in this world, there's a Carter Blue, and I just
Mm,
wrote his story. It was whispered through me through the universe, and I picked it up and wrote it. It was already preset, so not anything that I don't believe I contrived this or I created this. I believe it was something that I was allowed to do because I'm sensitive like that to the arts and to emotion and people's sufferings. But yeah, it was very easy to do and very easy to walk in clubs with anybody there. I don't see I see people as people. I'm a
right.
humanitarian. I love
Yeah.
all people. I don't have issues, separatism and division and that kind of stuff. I'm a true artist
I'm the same
in
way.
that
I'm
regard.
the same way. I like to I get along with just about everybody. I mean, maybe not Bengals fans, but everybody else I pretty much get along with. Um, I think music, music is the universal language, right? I mean, we all come
Yeah.
together, as one for music. I mean, we go to a concert or a festival and you see, 100,000 people on there who are cheering on a band, and we're all one and the same. Um,
Well, I want,
what do you
honey. Yeah.
how do you what do you do I mean, as because you teach as well, and you teach young
Hmm.
people about music and the arts and what have you.
Hmm.
What are some of the questions they ask you the most? Do they ask you about the actual playing and the actual singing, or did they always talk about the future? Like, I'm going to be this. I want to be this big. I want to be like that. I want to be like that famous person. How is music taught to the youth these days?
Um, well, music is borderless. I think I've said that before.
Mm,
And with young people, the most important thing to young people is to be seen. And the
yeah.
icing on the cake is to be celebrated. So when they're on stage, they're seen, but when they get to the applause, they're celebrated. And I believe that that's what keeps them coming back. Because a lot of kids come out of home situations that are not ideal, but they can be somebody else on that stage. They can take on a new nuance. They can become somebody like maybe a fictional character that they admire. And this gives them a chance to stretch beyond little Johnny or little Susie at home who's going through things because their parents are going through things. This gives them the freedom to knock down that the fourth wall and be who they want to be. They can create, they can imagine. And I think imagination is one of the biggest um, pluses that our young people have is that there are no borders. There's no ceiling. They can be whoever they want to be, and it's our job as teachers to guide that energy so that they become good human beings when they grow up.
I think you hit it on the button, Diane, when you sit there and say that they want to be seen. It seems to be like that, and it's even worse now with social media. I mean, you see people, young people doing incredibly, like, it's sad. It's sad what they do to get attention. It's like, we understand you want attention, but
Yeah,
this is not the way to do it. Picking up a guitar or picking up a saxophone or picking up a clarinet, you know, that's I want to see you do that. That's what we need to see. We need to see more of that. And my question to you
yeah,
too is, Cloud Blue comes out now. I'm sure it's going to sell out. I mean, if it already hasn't, are you going to take the play? Are you going to make the play into and like to make it your own as it is your own? But are you going to take that on the road and possibly tour with it?
yeah. We're looking at we're looking at Greenville, Mississippi next, the heart of the Delta. Um, the only downside in this is that normally when I do something in the arts, I had a chance to get a grant and get funding for it. This time, when I discovered the theater had been developed to a point of the 50-seat theater, and then I talked with them, they said yes, I hadn't had time to grant. Most of it's been basically self-funded. That's the only hardship is that I've
Uh,
had to come out of my pocket with like souvenir books, the the rental fees, and different things that art things. But that's the part that if there is a downside, and that's not even a downside, it's just I'm just giving, and it'll come back some kind of way.
yeah, hopefully the venue will work with you on that and make sure that you know see, Hobbs here. Hobbs, serious question here. The original funk band from Dayton, Ohio, the Ohio player. Any thoughts? As a matter of fact, I do. Your boy here booked those guys. They played for me at the Oasis in San Jose. Um, Super cool band, still tight as hell at the time they played for us. Uh, some of the nicest people. Let me just tell Diane to let me go ahead and see if I can get Diane to come back here. Oh, there she is. There she is.
You there?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay, Diane?
Okay.
Uh,
Did I lose you?
no, nope, right here. Nope. Let me hit the. Leave it a StreamYard. Always count on them for nothing. Uh, okay. So can you hear me all right? Oh, Uh, we might not get her back. Fortunately, we might not be able to get her back. We'll try it. We'll try it a couple of times. Yes. Yeah. Zap was a good show. I enjoyed booking that show. And I worked that show, but we were so understaffed that night, Hobbs. Zap sold out. We sold out for that for 1,200 people inside the Oasis, and we only had 7 guys with us that night, 7 security guys and a couple of San Jose PD guys. We were severely understaffed. Um, didn't don't I know Lakeside from high school, but never worked with them. But Roger Zapp and was I think afterwards, I think that was when I think that's when Roger Troutman was killed by his brother. I think that they had a falling out or whatnot. But yeah, I also did a show as that. But I like the Ohio players. The Ohio players are, I mean, the guys from Zap were really cool. But the folks from the Ohio players were very sweet. The wife of the singer at that time, she was their manager, and she was so, we didn't have a very good crowd. I'll be honest with you. Out of 1,200 seats, we only sold like 300 tickets, and it looked when the Oasis was empty, 300 people, that means it looked really bad. And the Yeah, Zap did. Zap we sold out. Not a problem. Yeah, we sold out there. The Ohio players, not so much. But like I said, they were very, very nice. They were so complimentary to us and our staff. They kept on saying how well we treated them, and we felt really bad. I know I felt really bad because I wanted more people in the seats. We all did. We all, we talked about that show for weeks after it was over with. The staff, we sit there and like there'd be somebody else would be playing, and then they'd be loading out, and then we'd be sitting over here watching it, talking about what about the Ohio players, and it was just such a cool show. I don't think I'm going to be able to get Diane back. Well, that's all right though. That's all right. We're gonna stay up here for a little bit, so I could talk. So I could talk about her a little bit more. Um, I just want to say that she was everything that was I thought she would be and more. And I think thanks to thanks to thanks thanks to Roach NATO and Cocaine Roach, we had a really good icebreaker right there, and I didn't feel nervous at all after once we started laughing about that. So, uh, thank you, thank you, Robert Parham, for that. I owe you one big time when you get here. That you helped break the ice. Um, so let me tell you a little bit about the show that I can tell you about. And that is Caught Blue is taking place in Malvern, Arkansas Saturday the 27th. It starts at 7 o'clock at the historic, let's see, Ritz Theater. We have a Ritz over in San Jose. Um, so it holds 450 seats. That's a really nice venue. It's a really good venue to hold a show with. And not only is it going to be an award show like you heard she's mentioned, like she's going to acknowledge that she's going to acknowledge all the people, the people, all the blues players that didn't get it, didn't, like she said, didn't get their flowers. And then she's doing a play. It's a play on top of the award show, and I think it's going to be basically the story of the blues. Now I'm not sure if it's going to be the story of the blues in Malvern, or if it's going to be the blues in the entire Delta area, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. I'm not sure, but that's where the blues originated from. As far as the United States, from Mali to the United States, and then onward. So it's a very interesting, it's interesting. I thought she sang a little blues, but I think it's more impressive in a sense that she didn't, but she still recognizes how important it is, and how vital it is. And so I appreciate that. I wish I had more blues. I like the people. I like the bands. I like the musicians. I like them very much, and I had no problem with in booking a blues night. My bartenders, on the other hand, hated it because unfortunately, blues crowds are notoriously bad for bar business. If you're running a club and you're making money at the bar and you book in the blues, you're not making that much money. And it's just how it is. It's not any picking on anybody. You can go you can go from California to New York to Michigan to Louisiana, and it's always going to be the same. It always has been. I don't know why, but every bartender I've ever talked to that's ever worked a blues show, they've always said that. They're nice, they're nice, but they just don't drink a lot. They're into the music. That's what they're there for. They're there for the music, not to basically, they don't need any alcohol to get their feet moving on the floor. Um, there was San Jose had two blues clubs, one large venue, one small venue, JJ's, and June Stanley ran it. And she had one big venue downtown, and she got some good bands playing there. It's just parking was really tough. It was downtown San Jose, right by the light rail. It was just a little tough to get there. And then she had a smaller venue in Santa Clara, and that was like a hole in the wall. That was like Marsugi's was. Maybe it held 100 people at the most. But that's where June always puts her big guns. And we're talking like big major blues players. We'd be playing this 100-seater. It was amazing. You sit there and we're like, how in the hell are you doing that? Sometimes they would do two shows, play for an hour and a half, take a break, flip the venue over. Except for the ones with maybe they had a stamp on their hand or whatever, but they would flip the room over, bring in fresh people to come on in, and they do the same show again. So, yeah. So, all right. I tell you what, I think I got a good interview out of this, thanks to StreamYard, despite the StreamYard. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you to everybody who came out tonight. We'll try to do this again with Diane, maybe after the show's over, after her play's over with, and she can get a better, more secured area where she can do the interview. We'll have her come back and talk to us some more, because I had a lot more questions to ask, and I definitely want a chance to ask them. So my thanks to Cindy and Diane for that, and good luck on the 27th, Diane. Again, I hope that you're able to record it, and And thank you for all you do, and teaching the youth about music and the arts. That's just as priceless as anything. And you definitely deserve flowers for that. That's for sure. And you deserve flowers for doing this. This is important, and I hope it goes well enough that you'll do it again, maybe next year. Maybe it'll become a yearly thing. All right. Thank you guys to the chat for coming out and hanging out with us today. Hobbs, thanks so much, buddy. I appreciate it. Um, and Jerry was here, Lady Val was here, Brother Max in the house, John Henderson from Doomsday Crypt. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for letting me post the show in the group. I when I posted the upcoming show in Doomsday's Crypt, I'm thinking, yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how that one's going to be looked at. But I'm glad you let me able to do it and always show me love and support. So I appreciate that. All right, we will be back a week from today with Mark Wolf, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace.